Hello, today I'll be talking about food web. This is TEAC 8.11a. Describe producer, consumer, predator, prey, and parasite. Host relationships as they occur in food webs within marine, freshwater, and terrestrial ecosystems. This PowerPoint is by me, Riegn and Hilario, from Villa Middle School. In this slide, you would see a bunch of memes. Two of them are about food web jokes, while the rest are about SpongeBob, since he's my favorite cartoon character that I love a lot. There's this one and this one. These are jokes about the food web. These are SpongeBob, as in when I'm told to act normal. This one, finding out a project is due tomorrow and you haven't done any work on it yet, which is me right now doing this PowerPoint. This one from an episode that is back then. And last but not least, one that says, I'm ugly and I'm proud, which is true, and how I feel, which is why I put it, because I like it. Today you will be learning, what's a food web? Who's at the bottom, middle, and top of the food chain? Different type of food webs. What's a food web? The food web is like a food chain, but bigger. Unlike the food chain, a food web shows the flow of energy between species. Food web The food web has producers, primary consumer, secondary consumer, predator, and last but not least, decomposers, which we will be learning their role in the next slide. Over here in the right corner is a picture of a food web to show you how it looks. What are the levels of the food web? At the bottom of the food web, the producers are found. The producers are most likely plants. Next, the primary consumer is found made up of organisms that are herbivores, which means they only eat plants. After that comes the secondary consumer. They eat the primary consumers for energy. Some eat only meat, carnivores, but they can also be omnivores, plant eater, and meat. At the end come the tertiary consumers. They eat the secondary and primary consumers for energy. They are, for example, carnivores, which are like eagles, whales, wolves, etc. When these creatures die, the decomposers, fungi, and bacteria come and break down the organisms. Over here in the bottom is a food chain. It shows in order how they work. There are different kinds. And over here is a food web. They're similar, but shown in a different way. Over here in the left corner is in which orders they go, as in producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, as which is the order they get eaten from. And on the right side, it's similar. Well, it's the same as the one on the left, just in a pyramid order, from going from the bottom to the up, from the producer to the secondary predator. Different type of food. There are other type of food webs that are much smaller. For example, a food chain is much smaller type of a food web, but much smaller. In fact, a food web is made up of a bunch of food chains. There's also a food pyramid, which is like a food chain, but in a pyramid. Today we learned what a food web is. We also learned that there are different levels in the food web. We also learned about different types of food webs. Science is fun. Thank you, and that is all. Also, subscribe if you want or not.